If the things that you do and habit continue exactly as they do, where is it that you'll be 5 years from now? Most people think that life changes in big dramatic events, but the truth is it's the tiny everyday choices that determine where we end up. Just like gravity slowly pulls objects into orbit, your habits are constantly shaping your trajectory. The question is, are they guiding you toward the life you want, or are they dragging you somewhere where you'd never dare go? If you're anything like me and you want to be sure that everything that you're doing is putting your best foot forward towards the best life this time, then in today's talk, we'll both walk away with a better idea of how to recognize the gravitational pull of our habits and how to intentionally shift back in line with our true goals. If you don't know, my name is Chad Joshua, and I'm working my way towards writing a 100-song catalog. I write songs about populism, freedom, and liberty, and this is my artist channel, which I use to promote those songs. In my free time, I like to have these chats in order to consider the things that could be useful to us as we pursue our goals and work to bringing them into reality. Today, I thought I would discuss our habits and how they serve to play such a consequential role in the probability and the outcomes of our pursuits. Our lives and our goals, sort of like a rocket launching out into the future. And our habits are something like the degrees of alignment, each one adding the slightest degree to our launch. And at first, that 1 degree shift, it seems like no big deal. But over a long enough course of time, that tiny angle ends up determining whether you're in one galaxy or the next. So what is it that happens whenever we stop thinking about big leaps and we start focusing on the tiny choices that do stack up over time? I have all sorts of habits, both good and bad. The bad ones I'm constantly trying to reduce, and the good ones trying to build upon. In my efforts with songwriting and promotion, it requires that I spend so much time doing so many tasks that have me behind a computer when there are all sorts of distractions in life that happens out here in the wide open. But if I'm going to work toward the thing that I'm trying to do, and if I am going to make that a priority, then I do have to make good habits around that, and I have to eliminate ones that aren't. We all have a cell phone in our pocket. We all have a tendency to sit down on that and just scroll through the bright lights and the chaotic videos. And all of that time that we spend engaging with that device in the way that we do is time that we're taking away from ourselves and the things that we're trying to do. And I fall into this trap all over the time when I'm editing videos and that. And it must be so that I'm lost in the drool of the work. And I think to myself, I wonder if there's something interesting on this website right now. And I just decide to take a break, hit the browser and search away. And I'll find myself there 15 minutes later, just lost in a fog. You know, as interesting as information could be on the internet, it's a big waste of time. I've also been doing my best to do better to keep in the gym effort, but that whole process has a tendency to be sabotaged by my reluctance to track my calories and daily food intake. So there's one thing and another, and the only thing that we do is keep getting older and keep expending our valuable time. And so it does make the most sense that we work towards readjusting and realigning ourselves, making something of a course correction to see to it that every step counts and we're not completely sent off course with repetitive behavior that doesn't bring us any benefit. Good habits, like making it a daily effort to focus in on making videos. And it isn't under any illusion that any particular video that I make is going to be viral or change my life, but it is the practice of doing it daily that better equips me for having the opportunity to improve, in that I can be eventually in a position to be able to make content that better helps to promote my music in a way that's satisfying to me. It's downloading the app that I can use to track everything that it is that I'm consuming on a daily basis. So that way, all of my effort in the gym, lifting heavy weight, can be something that I can demonstrate. And what comes of that? That would only serve to feed my confidence and provide me with fuel towards the next challenge. It would only better align me with where it is I would be contented going, because the habits, they work in the background. They shape our behavior and identity, even when we're not aware of it. Good habits that quietly elevate us, while bad habits sabotage us. But the challenge is identifying the habits that are controlling everything, and then having to recognize some of them we love, even they're terrible. And while you may not need a total life overhaul, a few intentional shifts to your daily routine could be just what you needed, because the habits that we repeat daily determine who we have chosen to be. If success is just momentum built over time, then what is it you are building momentum toward? Many of our habits, they aren't even chosen. They're inherited from our routine, environment, or social circles. Comfort habits like doom scrolling, procrastination, excuses feel good in the short term, but they keep you stuck. Growth habits like discipline, learning and action, they feel difficult on the short term, but the benefit compounds over time. Before you can make any ground in redirecting your effort, self-awareness is the first step. Once you recognize the habits shaping your life, you can redirect them. Pay attention to yourself for a little while. Identify the habits that are automatic and decide whether or not they're the kind that are serving you or sabotaging. Habits run on autopilot. If you don't manually adjust the controls, you're going to go wherever they take you. And that is whether you like the destination or not. But how do you go about changing things that are so routine, so ingrained into your daily cycle? The key takeaway that I've learned in this area is consistency, sticking with it, whatever it is. Whether you need to quit a bad habit or start a good one, it's seeing to it that you do it or don't. The most successful people aren't necessarily the most motivated, but rather they're the ones that have built the strongest systems. So replace the negative habits with productive ones. Start to build yourself better system. Attach the new habits to existing routines, habit stacking, track your progress, and celebrate the wins to reinforce the change. Changing a habit is like shifting your diet. One healthy meal isn't going to make you healthy, but months of intentional eating could drastically improve one's health. So in regards to making these adjustments for yourself, focus on daily, consistent wins instead of setting big and overwhelming goals for yourself. If you just focused on being consistent instead of waiting for some magic motivation, how much farther in the right direction would you be? Motivation comes and goes. Habits are consistency. They keep you moving even if you don't feel like it. For most successful people, they rely on their discipline and structure. They don't leave themselves to the mercy, the ebbs and flows of motivation. The goal isn't to feel motivation every day. It's to create a system for yourself that keeps you moving forward regardless of how you feel. Who cares about feeling? Build non-negotiable habits that you can run on autopilot, and so that your progress can become inevitable. The planet doesn't need to be motivated to stay in orbit. It's locked into its path by gravity. It's safe to expect that those good habits you create for yourself should work in just about the same way. So how about it? How would your life change if your best habits became automatic and you made your primary effort to be dialing in to the gravity that pulls you toward your success? To be sure that happens, we need to be sure that we've broken away from the things that pull us in a direction other than where we want to go. Because in the same way that good habits can compound over time, so can the bad. Don't forget to remember that people don't crash overnight. They drift downward over a long period of time, burning up all their opportunity through small and repeatedly poor choices. So if it makes sense that if you catch yourself in a pattern of this, that you take it as a cue to do something new, because you only have your own self to blame if you don't. And one way that you might try to do that more easily is that rather than trying to eliminate the bad habit, simply switch it for a different habit that's good in its place. Breaking a bad habit, it's not like slamming on the brakes. It's about slowly steering into a better direction. So what is one small shift that you can make today that will change your future trajectory? Where are you going to land? The question is, are you actively steering, or are you letting gravity pull you where you don't want to go? Your habits, they are already shaping your future. The only question is, are you the one choosing the direction? So get to it. Take the good hard look that you need to. And while you do that, you keep your head up. And I'm going to keep my head up. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to my new song, you can hear it there. We'll talk again soon.